Everybody ready? So there have been rumors and speculation around this campaign over the last few days I want to address. Over the past few weeks, we have endured a challenge process that I would not wish on any campaign. After collecting over the required number of signatures, the Board of Elections lost our petitions, and they even said that they gave us 1,000 more from another candidate. So this is the Board of Elections. They hire Madigan employees and people who are unequipped to make decisions in major races. They even said my own mother's signature was not genuine. During this process, I have been assaulted by Willie Wilson's campaign manager and watched how everyday people, such as myself, drown in a system designed for the rich and powerful. This process has cost us tens of thousands of dollars, and we are not well equipped to fight this dirty style of politics. My desire to be a voice for the people was no match for Willie Wilson's dirty dollars. I chose to withdraw my petitions and register as a write-in. But after the holidays, after talking with family and friends, today I'm announcing I'm officially withdrawing as a candidate for mayor completely. With over 50 days left, we don't feel that we can run a winning campaign with minimal resources. Over the past few years as an activist, I feel accomplished at the work that we've done. We've unseated Anita Alvarez, forced Rahm Emanuel to pass police reforms like tasers and body cameras, got the conviction on Jason Van Dyke, and now Rahm knew that he outstayed his welcome, and now he's choosing not to seek re-election. See, I entered this race as the youngest candidate, and a lot of people laughed at my ambition. But over the past year, we have turned naysayers into believers. They saw a kid until they heard our policies, until they saw our commitment, until they saw us gather over 12,500 signatures, until they saw the love that we have for this city that we call home. I've watched seasoned candidates take my insight, my ideas, and embrace it and make it their own. Unfortunately, we live in a political system where it's money over policy. And I got to experience that firsthand. See, people like Willie Wilson have used loopholes in the system to keep viable candidates out of the race and neglecting to give our people a fighting chance. I'll admit, I came into this race a little too optimistic about the process. In my heart, I held the idea that of democracy and that all voices could be heard. And I realized that it's only voices with money that matter.
Facts.
I am joyous, however. This journey has allowed me to expose flaws in our system that have been ignored for years. Someone once joked, we may not get the government we deserve in a democracy, but we certainly get the one we put up with. I'm here today to say we will no longer put up with Chicago-style political games. Games where leaders grip their political chairs and refuse to let fresh ideas in. Where Senate leaders can try to silence candidates through crooked games and fake documents. Where campaign chairs can threaten candidates. Where even with the required number of signatures, viable candidates are bullied and drowned in court, and they never have a voice. I now have the knowledge and voice to face these issues head on. I started a war back when I was a war for the people back when I was 15 years old, and 8 years later, my strength is greater than ever before. So to my team and supporters, I would like to say thank you for your words, your support, your time, and your dollars. We have people who are dedicated and showed up every day to make this vision come true. Every single day. And I want to thank my family for being there during this hard time. And even my sons who cheered me on, even though that they were missing valuable time with their dad. And I'm excited to now make up that time with you. I'm excited about the young people in the city. They kept me motivated. It was those countless emails. It was those cheers when I walked into high schools and colleges. And they said, if you succeed, we succeed. Today, young people, we have succeeded.
Yes, we have.
Because we now have a seat at the table. I also want to thank my colleagues who constantly called to check on me when times were rough. Even though we were on different teams, even though I sent shots at them and talked about them, like President Preckwinkle, who gave me a call, Bill Daley, even Gary McCarthy, and Bob Fioretti, and Paul Vallis, and many other colleagues in this race, because they understand that they cannot run this city successfully without the vision that we've laid out. So where do we go from here? I will be proudly campaigning and standing behind over a dozen automatic candidates to give real progressives, there's a few with me, real progressives a voice in city council. Our legal team will be talking next. We'll be investigating and creating a plan to change this process that we call an election. And I'll be working to make sure that the next mayor possesses the values and policies needed to move our city forward. I will not stop trying to make this city safe for all, making sure that every community has economic development, making sure that schools in Inglewood are just as good as schools in Ravenswood, that police officers are held accountable when they do wrong, but even rewarded when they do right, making sure that everyone has a fair shot, even those in our criminal justice system and those re-entering into society. And I want to let you guys know, and I want to make this clear, Jamal Green did not quit. The elite in this city may think that they won, but I want to make it known that you just messed up. You lit a fire in me that burns so bright and will not stop until every ounce of corruption, of segregation, of pay-to-play politics has been reduced to ashes, that the phoenix of a new Chicago will rise from. Let this fight continue. I still can one day be the youngest mayor ever, but it will be up to us. I want to thank you guys so much. I want to introduce Anish Parikh, who's been working hard legally for us over these past few weeks. And we ran out of money, so we couldn't pay him no more. But he stood by our side and said, I got you until you make any decision. And he's been by my side all the way. And the work is just beginning.
Jesus.
Anish?
Same thing.
Good morning,
with me.
everyone.
It's the white one.
My name is Anish Parikh.
Can you spell that out, please?
Yeah, A-N-I-S-H, last name P-A-R-I-K-H.
That's the same thing with me, bro.
I am Jamal Green's election attorney,
Same
as well
thing
as
with
the election attorney for a lot of other candidates in this race.
The white, it's
you just
like
heard
white
from the young,
people,
dynamic
some of the
Jamal,
white people
and,
will stick with you
there's one thing we can
even
agree
when you
on,
run
is
out
that
of resources.
he stands for
It's
reform.
crazy.
And he is trying to bring a young, new blood perspective to politics here in Chicago, where historically it's been nothing but corrupt. That's the reputation Chicago politics has around the country, around the world. So I'm here to announce today that one of the first things we're going to be doing on our journey towards reform is trying to make changes come to the process of ballot access. And we want to figure out ways and stand for ways that will make access to the ballot less burdensome on all candidates, not just Jamal, but all candidates. We want young people to be attracted to the process. We want young people to get involved. We want young people to stand for the same change that Jamal Green stands for. So in the upcoming months, you will see, you will hear about our efforts, and we hope that you guys will all stand behind us. You continue to support Jamal Green. Thank you guys very much.
take a few questions.
J-Mo, when you talk about changing the system,
Yeah.
12,500 signatures. Why do you think it's so high? And how big a hurdle is that?
So I'll tell you why it's so high. This has happened over the last couple of decades. There was a time where it was only 3,000 signatures to run for mayor in the 90s. What happened was they passed a referendum to change elections to primaries in Chicago. They didn't have a specific number of signatures, so they came up with one and said, all right, we'll do 25,000. Then in 2003, Frank Avila was a lawyer against me. He filed a lawsuit alleging that this number was too high, that 25,000 was too high. He worked out a deal with Mike Madigan. They passed legislation to make it 12,500. But it never went in front of a judge. And that is a real problem. If a judge gets to see this process, to know that in other cities from LA, from New York, that to run for president or to run for any governor of this country, any state in this country, you don't need this amount of signatures and this process and so gruesome. If they get a chance to get this on their gavel, they will change this process.
Why is it so high now? What's the purpose?
The purpose was to protect incumbents. The purpose was to protect the rich and powerful and allow them to keep utilizing the system. It's not fair, and I want to make sure that going forward, we have candidates that don't have to jump over this hurdle and be able, regular people, whether you're a teacher, a lawyer, no matter your profession, if you feel that you need to be in public service, you should be able to run, and you should not have rich people be able to drain your resources until election day, making you not able to run a viable campaign.
J-Mal, would you think about aldermanic candidacy? Would you think about state candidacy?
Not at this moment. You know, let me make this clear. I'm not a guy that believes in being a career politician. We've had too many of those that have been sitting in seats for 50 years. I'm someone who believes in public service at the right time. I believe that this is the right time to make sure that we change the city. And over the past few years, I'm the only candidate that's had a hand in pushing out Anita and Ram. And now in 2019, we're going to have a new city. So going forward, I'm going to help the next mayor, and I'm going to help automatic officials and consult. And, you know, who knows what will happen in the future, but I won't count anything out.
Can you explain again why you're exiting the race, and also who do you plan to throw your support behind?
Yeah. So I'm exiting the race for several reasons. I don't feel at this time, with over 50 days, that we can run a winning campaign with minimal resources that we've now drained in the election process, in the challenge process. All right, and that's the goal. It's not about signatures.
They're trying to run our
it's not
money
even
up.
about the 12,500 signatures. It's about you having manpower to have people down here at the Board of Election 11 hours a day.
Exactly.
It's about having thousands of tens of thousands of dollars to pay lawyers to continue to go to court and to continue fighting for you. This process is not fair for the regular person. And who I decide to throw my support behind is not decided yet. But I have, like I said, I've talked to almost every candidate in the race, you know, from machine and not machine. And so I think that we got to make sure that whoever's best positioned understand our policies and take us serious.
So your issues weren't with signatures; it was the challenges to the signatures.
Our issue, yes, it was the resources, it was the money. Donors don't like participating when you're in a challenge process.
They sure
You know
don't.
what the rules were when you got in? Were you, I wouldn't say naive, but was it an eye-opening process to actually go through this?
Of course, it was an eye-opening process. I've learned a lot, you know. But what they've done is they made someone who had the who has gained the motivation, dedication to make sure it's changed. All right, so I wasn't naive to the process. I knew what it would take. Of course, we had some challenges along the way, but we fought every day, and my team got up every day, dedicated their lives. Nobody had they quit 9 to 5 jobs to work for this campaign because they believed in our mission. All right, so I wasn't naive. We just fought. We fought hard.
Do you plan on supporting anyone else's campaign right now?
So, like I said, you know, I'll be in talks with several candidates. I have talked with every candidate in the race thus far, and I want to see who's best positioned to win over the next 50 days. And I want to see who understands our policies and what we need for the city of Chicago. That's how I make my choice.
Can I ask your attorney a question?
Yeah.
I mean, you've represented many candidates, and yeah, thank you.
Sure.
For a neophyte, what's the bigger hurdle? Collecting the signatures or surviving the challenges?
I think at this point it's collecting the signatures because of what Jamal spoke about, how high that signature requirement is. I think the advice that we typically...
What's the pressure that puts on candidates?
It puts a lot of pressure on them. I mean, it's not easy. The current signature requirement is 12,500. That is no easy task to do, to accomplish over the course of 90 days. It's one of the highest in the nation. It's higher than New York City, which currently stands at 7,500. So I would say the biggest pressure is during the signature gathering process to just simply make sure that your numbers are high enough to survive a potential challenge.
And then?
And then, yeah, then you have to have the resources. Candidates need to have donors. Candidates need to have resources to campaign, to pay their staff, their attorneys, and it's that combined with the quality of the signatures that they get that's going to take them to the finish line.
Any more questions? All right. I want to thank all of you media for this past